Hello, everybody. This is Gerald Salenti, and it's Thursday, June 1st, 2023. And here are some of today's trends in the news. The only place in the world where you get trends in the news. You Google up trends, you know what they come up with? Fashion trends, music trends. How about go fuck yourself trends? What bullshit. Trends, that's just horse shit. We're the only ones that gives you trends forecasting. And again, I wrote the book Trend Tracking, far better than Megatrends, Time Magazine. Trend Tracking, national bestseller, international bestseller. We're the only ones that don't teach you trend tracking in Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Cambridge, Oxford, and nowhere. You know why? They don't know how. Oh, but you could get a degree in history. We could tell you what happened in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Bullshit. It's all they put out is bullshit. Because the trend is your friend. And we're your friends. And we're giving you what nobody else does. So we're going to do a lot of trends today because there's a lot going on. And on the market front, we could start with that. So read your trends journal. For the last 3 weeks, I said this debt ceiling thing is nothing more than political bullshit. That's all it is. They're going to make a deal. And the deal is, fuck the people. We're a crime syndicate. We'll make up any goddamn thing we want. And there is no debt ceiling. How about a Tower of Babel? Because that's the Babel bullshit coming out of these clowns' mouths. Oh, we can't touch the defense budget. We got to make it bigger. Yeah. Of course they're going to do a deal. And they're not putting any ceiling. There's no debt ceiling. Who could get away with this shit? You'd be out of business. I'll borrow all the money I want. Won't pay it back. And I'll keep building up. Yeah. Nobody could do this. You can't do it on any. Only Uncle Sam. The murderer, Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam. Anyway. So now in the markets, back up a little bit. Gold went up. Gold went up because of the weak manufacturing numbers coming in. And it's not only weak manufacturing numbers coming in the United States. Read your trends journal. They're in negative territory. Yeah, the dragflation. Can't say drag, can't say drag. Oh, I'm gay. Gay used to mean happy. Hey, yeah, I'm gay. No, you're not. Anyway, dragflation means that the economy drags down, inflation goes up. It's not stagflation, the bullshit they're pushing out there. So going back to the markets and what's going on. You go to China. Manufacturing, the PMI numbers down. Europe, down. That's the big one. Not what people are spending, what they're manufacturing. Look at China's numbers with exports. Down. Half of what they were a month ago. Imports, down. What China did with their zero COVID policy when they launched the COVID war back on Chinese Lunar New Year, 2020, January, the year of the rat, they destroyed the global economy. And what they did to themselves with their zero COVID policy up until December, they fucked up that economy unparalleled because they put tens of millions of businesses out of business. In America, we only put millions of businesses out of business. And we keep going into that. Today, oil prices went up a bit, but they're still pretty low because it's a supply and demand issue, and demand is going down. So, again, the big story is, are they going to raise interest rates or keep them steady when they decide on June 14th? And then on June 15th, the European Central Bank would decide. Again, it takes time for the high interest rates to damage the economy, and that time is now. Again, you read the headlines. Macy's comes out today. Costco, sales are down. Sales are down like in the last quarter, something like 9%, almost 9% with Macy's. And you're seeing it one after another. So, showing you the current events forming future trends. Companies face strains in debt market. Lending conditions for companies, consumers, and real estate developers tightened this spring to levels, you ready? Not seen since the height of the COVID pandemic. It wasn't a fucking pandemic. The World Trade Organization, World Health Organization, World Health Organization, Greenberg, Iceberg, what's the fucking difference? They're all fucking full of shit. The World Health Organization called it a pandemic in March of 2020, when a couple of thousand people were dead at 8 billion. And then you look at the numbers, only 99.91% of the people survived. So don't call it a pandemic. But anyway, that's when everything went down hard. And that's what you're looking at now with lending conditions. We mention it because it's going to go down as interest rates go up. It's going to get worse. Pessimism about China's recovery sends its stocks into bear market. Again, we warned that this was going to happen with their COVID policy. It's all in your magazine. China's recovery slows as factory service activity recedes. It's in negative territory. Again, the factory recovery is receding around the globe. And that's the one that you watch. Fading recovery in China reveals deeper problems. It's one article after another. It's not going to bounce back. Yeah, there's going to be things that bounce back. Travel will bounce back somewhat. But the businesses that have been put out of business are gone. Saudis in talks on joining China's BRIC Bank as NDB seeks out funding. The new development bank, a leading state-backed lender to developing economies, is in talks with Saudi Arabia to admit it as its 9th member. I'm mentioning this because let's go back to your Trends Journal in April. The death of the dollar. It's happening. The world has had enough of America's hegemony on the economic front and on the military front. This is real, and it's going to keep happening. But again, because China has weakened itself so much, it's going to take more time. However, there's the wild cards. Because who's one of Saudi Arabia's biggest partners that they sell oil to? China. What does China pay for the oil in? Yuan. When they take America off the petrodollar, it's the death of the dollar. And again, I said, by the way, I made a mistake. I said gold 200. I meant 2,200 the other day, so take it easy. We see gold going to 2,200. Again, it's very simple. When interest rates go down, the dollar goes down, gold goes up. Office districts suffer. Neighborhoods boom. Yep. Go down New York City. Yep. Bars, a lot of people out. But for rent, for lease, for rent everywhere. Because you have a very high office vacancy rate. Chicago's visitor foot traffic down 27% from pre-COVID war. One after another. In Chicago, the Central Business District accounted for more than 80% of corporate lunches. Now it's down to 60%. So, yes, that's going to be fine, but you have to look at the office occupancy rate. It's 49%. And when you talk about Chicago and New York, you have vacancy rates, vacant buildings, nobody in them, over 20%. The vacancy rates in New York City, in major cities right now, is worse than it was, as bad as it was in World War II. That's the fact. So World War II, all the guys are getting drafted to go fight, so the office buildings are empty. That's the levels we're at now. Office owners dump lesser buildings. Lesser buildings, dumping. How about that for... Bullshit. Yeah, they're losing fucking money big time. Again, the banking bust has just begun. There's trillions and trillions of dollars of loans coming due. And a lot of these are floating loans. So interest rates go up. They got to pay more in a loan as they have less tenants. The facts are here. It's going to get worse. Yep. In the first quarter of 2023, investors purchased $489 million in Manhattan's office properties, the lowest volume since the fourth quarter of 2009, around the height of the global financial crisis. So $500 million they bought. In 2022, they were so stupid, they bought over $5 billion worth. Again, we warned that this would happen. We said it would happen. Everyone ignored us. You get it in your Trends Journal. You see the numbers. They're all there. They're all there. Office building bust. You can see it. And each week we put in, we've been saying this since March of 2020 when people started working at home. Yep. Why are food prices so high in Europe? Because you got fucking asshole. I can't say assholes. Assholes give a positive. They're very positive. My assholes are very good to me. A bunch of arrogant, stupid fucking shitheads who started the sanctions on Russia, ramped up the COVID war, drove up prices, and they're still high. Oh, they've come down. Yeah. You're looking at some of the prices. They've gone down 40% from where they were. Yep, they're up 40%. Oh, they're up 50%. Yep, one after another. And here we go. Global vegetable oil prices are down about 50%. Yeah, great. They're down 50% from their high, so they're still way up. European wheat prices have declined about 40% since last May. Yeah, but they're way up. So the people are really hurting. It's dragflation. Germany is officially in a recession. 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP, while you have inflation around 7.6%. But they're calling it, again, stagflation. And your Trends Journal now, we have a special section in there on AI. Joe Duran is doing it, and Ben Davis, 2 of our writers. And just to give you an idea, we have a whole section now. We have the technocracy section, the crypto section, and the AI section. Again, this is what you get. This week's over 166 pages. Now, I can't read on. You read what you want. You see it all there. Nothing like this. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. Yeah. Trends in high-tech science, trends in AI. There we go. So you look at some of the articles. Everyone is a programmer now. AI tapped to weed out products that are damaged. ED tech sector put brave face on risks of AI. AI poses risk of infection. Tech leaders warn. On and on. Putting AI on the job to boost productivity and profitability. The pluses, the minuses, we're giving you all of them. All of them. And the bigs keep getting bigger. Asset manager Franklin to buy rival for $1 billion. Another one, Lansdowne Partners agreed to buy UK investment boutique Crew Assets, $1.1 billion. And then you look at the scam going on. Again, it's a crime syndicate. The money junkies. Insiders made billions of profits selling stock before SPAC bust. Front page article in the Wall Street Journal. Read your Trends Journal. We wrote about the SPAC as it was happening, one article after another, and the clowns that were selling the SPACs, when all the dough came in, they sold them. It's a crime syndicate. They call them uh, investors, Wall Street investors. They're fucking gamblers. Portugal gives green light to lithium project. They tried to do this in Serbia, and the people took to the streets until they stopped it, because this is a dirty, dirty deal in bringing up lithium. So they're pushing it through now for the electric vehicles because they're going to climate change. Yeah. Bullshit. Your fucking batteries are invented in 1800. But I'm mentioning this because, again, what happened in Serbia, what Rio Tinto tried to do it, the people kept protesting. So I think you're going to see the same thing in Portugal. Yeah, this is a story in the Wall Street Journal. Look at this. Old tracks slow ETA of new Acela fleet. Amtrak's $2 billion effort to replace its fleet of Acela express trains on Washington to Boston corridor has hit foreseeable snag. The new trains have to run on old railroad. It's a fucking joke. These fucking tracks are 100 years old. America's a third world country when it comes to transportation. You got high-speed rails going over 300 miles an hour in China, all over Europe, and we got this crap. The roads are rotted. Everything is falling apart. $130 billion sent to Ukraine. Biden just announced another $300 million as the country goes to shit. Amtrak. Oh, just mentioned it. Biden fortifies Kyiv's offensive with new aid of $300 million. So, the war's heating up over there in the Ukraine, bombs away over in Moscow, and now Moscow's former president is saying that the United Kingdom is, quote, in a de facto war with Russia. The goofy officials in the new UK, our eternal enemy, should remember that within the framework of the universal accepted international law which regulates modern warfare, including the Hague and Geneva Conventions with their additional protocols, the state can also be qualified as being, quote, at war. Ta-da! We've only said this going back to before the war began. 2 days before Russia invaded, on February 22nd, 2022. From COVID war to Ukraine war to world war. This is not a proxy war. War has begun, and now Putin is talking more and more, and they're bringing out more and more talk about nuclear exchange, which will be the end of life on Earth, but don't worry about it. You could build a shelter and you'll be happy, live happily ever after in a hole. Putin vows reprisal after drones hit Moscow. In Moscow, 2 people suffered minor blah, 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 blah. Although Putin did not say how Russia would respond and claimed it did not attack civilian targets in Ukraine, he made his first reference, quote, to a possible nuclear escalation, accusing Ukraine of trying to cause an accident at a nuclear power plant in Zaporizhzhia or use of a dirty bomb. Again, there's going to either be a false flag or a real thing happening. But don't worry about it. Everything will be fine. Taiwan envoy says success versus Russians is important. Bai Kim-hung, Taiwan's de facto ambassador to the United States, said that Ukraine's success in defending itself against Russia's invasion with the help of the United States and other nations is important for deterring China from trying to take over Taiwan. China's going to take over Taiwan. The international reality, they all agree that Taiwan is not a separate nation. It's only going to be a matter of when. It's been going on since the Ming Dynasty. Oh, and that American spy plane was harassed by a Chinese jet. What the fuck are we doing over there? What if the Chinese jet was in the Gulf of Mexico? It was a spy plane, rather. What are we doing there? Again, we had a big Occupy Peace and Universal Church of Freedom, Peace, and Justice rally this past weekend. Zero coverage from the media. Zero coverage. You're not allowed to talk about peace because they're pieces of shit. And we had Dennis Kucinich here, who is RFK Jr.'s national campaign manager. No coverage of RFK Jr. They did a poll. The Hill talked about it, about who's the most popular Democrat. They didn't even mention him in the polling. And the polling is showing that he has 20% of the vote already, which is very high at this time. Oh, Biden fell again today. Oh, yeah, he tripped over a bag, sandbag. Tripped over his... He wears those fucking glasses, you know, so nobody could see how fucking dead he is with those sunglasses on. But I want to just mention, DeSantis rallies in Iowa, hoping it slingshots him past Trump in 2024 race. DeSantis, waiting in the debt ceiling fight, puts pressure on Trump. DeSantis takes pokes at Trump. DeSantis to Santa Claus. Every fucking day, DeSantis, but nothing about RFK Jr. You know why? Because they're little fucking media whores, prostitutes. They hate RFK Jr. because RFK Jr. is against the wars. He supports many things of Occupy peace, like bring home the troops and secure the homeland. Oh, and how dare you don't get the COVID jab. They hate him for that. More high school grads forego college. No kidding. One of your top trends for 2023. Again, we're giving you history before it happens. The college collapse is happening. Can't afford it. What are you going to get, a degree in gender studies? No, art history. Yeah, okay. On and on, a lot more. One I want to mention, only been talking about this for 2 years, but it just came out now. May 28th, Telegraph. Mobile phone users have been given a chilling warning about how much time they spend chatting. Again, I don't carry a cell phone. I did work for the cellular telecommunications industry going back to the early 90s when they had boxes in the trunks of cars with aerials. I've been studying the damages of this. And they used to be reported, but they barely are. I've been saying now for 2 years that if you're on a cell phone, according to the studies from the University of California, Berkeley, for 17 minutes a day, for 10 years, your chances of getting a brain tumor only increase by 60%. And they go on right here. Our main takeaway is that approximately 1,000 hours of lifetime mobile use, or about 17 minutes a day over a 10-year period, is associated with statistically significant 60% increase in brain cancer, said Joel Moskowitz, a researcher at the University of California, Berkeley School of Public Health. People are addicted to their smartphones. They're stupid phones. You're walking down the street. Little kids. Oh, by the way, they used to, in France, they banned the phones because kids have thinner brain shields. So they banned them for a lot of years because they go in deeper. But hey, who's in charge? Again, they call a guy by the name of Mussolini called fascism the merger of state and corporate powers. Welcome to fascism in a country near you. The corporations are in charge. All we are plantation workers of Slavelandia. So, do what you can to support Occupy Peace, because we're doing everything we can to support you. Put your money where your heart and mind are. And if you want to know history before it happens, you want the Trends Journal. No magazine like it anywhere, any place, for the grand total of $2.86 a week. The New York Times, $4 a day. The Wall Street Journal is thick, $5 a day. $2.86 a week. And if you don't like it, money back guaranteed after 30 days. Guaranteed you'll love it. Thank you.
Get the Trends Journal, the best investment you could make, because it's the best investment into your mind, and it can change how you look at the world.
Over the last 30 years, Joe Salante has been more accurate about predicting what would be happening than anyone else I'm aware of.
The Trends Journal is one of the greatest sources of information, and it really is. You're predicting these things well ahead of time. I would encourage everyone to go grab the latest copy.
Been a Trends Journal subscriber for 20 years. I just have to commend you. What you guys have put together in your latest Trends Journal, there's nothing like this out there.
Sir, everything that you predicted about the economy, you were absolutely right. So I have followed you all this time. So please take a look at the Trends Journal.
You correctly forecast that the Fed would hike rates quite aggressively, correctly said that initially gold and silver would drop as the Fed starts to raise rates to 1.5% and above. When we spoke last, Bitcoin was around 49,000. You said you expect to drop, and if it drops below 30, 35, then it could really drop.
Trends Journal, which I would encourage people to go and check out. It's actually a 200-page document, pure data-driven analysis.
Gerald Celente, the top trends forecaster in the world. Gerald, you had an interesting call back in September of last year. You said gold had bottomed, which is exactly what happened. And here we are, and we're above $1,900.
Subscribe to the Trends Journal. Read history before it happened at trendsjournal.com.